Hear ye, hear ye. We do not have Mr. Overzet for this week's show, but that's okay. We are going to put ourselves in his shoes, his New Balance shoes, and have a few friends over, and then just try our best. Try our best to have a good show. That's what we're going to do today. It's a Swolecast here on RotoGrinders.com.
Are you Davis Maddox from the Swolecast? I was like, yep, that's me.
I just want you guys to know I'm total dust. I'm the problem.
Hear ye, hear ye.
Leave it to the guy with the crypto dunes, Abby, to not understand context.
I should have known you getting 30 likes was directly written by someone else.
You know me, I don't do a ton of research before the show.
I've put no research into this. Don't know if it's true at all.
You're on the right show.
To it, bro. Live a little.
Live a little.
Just live a little, guys.
All right. Welcome in, Soccer Dave, alongside Davis Maddox and Pat Kerrane and Matt Freedman. Guys, how's it going?
Going good.
Beautiful. Yeah. How could you possibly complain with this cast of characters?
Yeah, so we'll get into it. Pizza Way. He asked Davis to come up with, or he said he would give Davis $50 if Davis did a Overzets overview. I honestly didn't think you would do it, Davis.
I have jokes written. We have a monologue prepared.
Okay, and I also prepared an Overzets overview. So how are we gonna do this?
You go first. You go first.
I kind of want you to go first.
No, you need to go first for structural reasons for the show. Also, we should not. We should not.
All that gulp. You guys see that gulp from Kitchen there?
Yeah, we here's the deal. We need to let people know Freedman is about to do his first ever Best Ball Mania draft on this program. So we are going to be treated as some real content.
Maybe. I think he's still looking at possibly doing it on his phone. That's why we do this show. This takes us back to a couple years ago when we were doing this show. Just kind of seeing what could go wrong. Technical difficulties, pretty much every show.
I think we are good.
Oh,
I had to remove a Chrome extension that was like blocking location or something, and I don't even know how. I don't remember having that on there, but yeah, it's we're now good. I think I'm going to be able to get into this with you guys. The real question is going to be, like, technologically, do I still do something stupid where I'm like entering the wrong draft or something? I could totally see how that happens.
It's very live. You could enter. Yeah. You could enter the puppy 2. You could enter. The mini schnauzer. You never know. It's definitely possible.
Yep.
Okay. Well, with that being said, let's get into today's Overzets. Well, not actually here. Overview.
Got that dog in her butt. Got that dog in her butt. Overzet overview. Come on.
All right. Again, Mr. Overzet's not here. Can you present my slides though? Because I've got slides here.
Yes, slides.
We'll see how this goes. But yes, Peter Overzets used to be a team player. However, after last week's show, we had to suspend him due to conduct detrimental to the team after the brutal roast of Davis on the show. He'll be back. We
were all better for it, I think. I think we were all better for it.
Yes, he'll be back next week. And not to worry, because Davis went out in his hustle mode and got only the best of the best. And I'm talking about a guy known for his hazmat suits in the past and leaving the company that pays the Swolecast high and dry a couple years ago. And only leaving us with this screenshot. Welcome back to the Better Collective Network. Matt.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Here are the goggles from the hazmat
goggles. Yeah, people are
Still-
gonna have to get
still saved them.
on Twitter, on X, and just do a search for Matt F the Oracle at Hazmat, and you can get that story. Pete, while he's away, I did see though that he is giving away a pair of New Balance shoes. If this one particular draft that he did had a bunch of old people won, you have to comment the size of your shoes. So basically everyone's commenting a few sizes too big, but at least he's giving something away, because when Pat Kerrane won his $2 million, all he gave away were double bird fingers to NBC execs and Matthew Berry.
Barry suggested I do it.
Okay. Type down. Netflix is The Hitman is the #1 film out right now. It's about a fake hitman that if you pretend enough to do something, eventually you will be able to do that. And yes, it is based on a true story. With that being said,
other inside baseball. No one's gonna get that, Dave.
Other industry people.
Technical difficulties. Amazing. Friedman is getting the real Soccer Dave experience. The guy goes, I mean, he's gone. How are we gonna enter the draft if we don't know where David is?
Is this part of the bit? Is this just a little self-deprecation?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't think this is part of the bit. I think that him logging off in the middle of making fun of the fantasy footballers and then JJ Zacharyson, I'm gonna guess it's not part of the bit. I'm gonna go ahead and guess that.
This is amazing though.
Yeah, so this is what people come here for. So now we're gonna do the real oversets overview.
Got that dog in her butt. Got that dog in her butt. Overset overview. Come on.
All right, so while we wait for Kitchen to return, I mean, obviously the show is, we are on Juneteenth. We're celebrating Juneteenth, to which David Kitchen said, what? I didn't know that was a holiday. You guys might know I am currently in between jobs right now in the fantasy industry. So I've been, applying, meeting with people, interviewing, and you might wonder, Davis, how do you know who to talk to? And what I did is I just emailed everyone who Matt Freedman used to work for. I just went through the Rolodex of everyone that Freedman has ever worked for, and I'm kind of cycling through all of those. Freedman has never done a Best Ball Mania draft before, and Kitchen kind of reassured him before the show, before we went live, and he said that he drafts like someone who's never done a Best Ball Mania draft before, so he should be fine. It was my job this week to hustle up a guest. I initially tried to get the Gilcast guys on. They weren't able to make it, so I invited Kerrane on, mostly just to try and ask him for a job. So we'll see if I draft a really good team today. That might be possible. Dan Bach retweeted the Go Live tweet for this show for the first time ever, which I think is him just trying to increase engagement so that they can pay for my new higher appearance fee for the program. Tuttle really, really wanted to be here on the show, but he needed to update projections for Hungary's new backup right back. He's deep in the European Championship streets. And finally, Pete sends his apologies. He really wishes he was able to be here, but he's deep in the research lab trying to figure out what dog Underdog is going to name their new $103 best ball draft after nothing initially came to mind. So there we go. There's Overzet's overview, everybody.
And Kitchen's back. Look at that.
Kitchen's back. Internet? Is he back? Are we back?
I'm back.
Okay.
Hear me?
All right. Kitchen, now that you're here, I will say, David Kitchen, back to you, brother.
All right. Oh, boy.
Yeah, people are needing to know who's the internet service provider, because
it
feels...
they did not want me to do anything as far as the Overzet's overview. They said it was going too good, basically, is what they said.
Big JJ shut you down.
Yeah. It's all right, though. All right.
People are saying the Overzet's overview is missing me laughing hysterically at my own jokes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm in now. Are you guys in?
Yeah.
We're in.
Okay.
Am I in?
We'll see. We'll see.
We are really about to find out. If not, it's going to be a long 45 minutes for you, Bucko.
I mean, it's deducted $25 from my account. So,
all right,
I don't know.
I'm
hitting enter.
Okay. Freedman's
what's your
in.
username?
Yeah, the Freedman is in. Got the 1-4.
You got the fourth pick. He's in.
Yeah.
All right.
We did it, Dave. Do you think your computer is going to be able to share the screen, or do I need to figure out a way to do it?
I mean, no, I reset the router beforehand. It just went out. Like the internet just cut out right before my JJ joke. Should I say the JJ joke?
You can try.
I said basically JJ had a 1.5-minute podcast this week that just as scheduling update. And it was pretty funny. His scheduling update is that the legacy show that he got, basically that put him on the map, on the podcasting map, he's taking a break for, but he's still doing the best ball streams and the interviews.
He's got to finish the draft guide, man.
Yeah. One of us, basically, is what I say. Having an interview stream and a best ball stream is one of us. He's actually doing his best ball streams on Wednesdays at 2 Eastern. So shout out to JJ.
Now, Kerrane, we need to know, are you using the sidekick for this draft? Do you got it? Do you have it pulled up?
Well, so when I agreed to come on the Swolecast, in the spirit of that, we decided to have major technical difficulties with the sidekick, and it's currently down.
Hey,
so we're back to the star method, baby.
That is the spirit of this. All right, Freedman, your first draft.
Yes,
you were an industry vet, but this is your first draft. Tell us what you're looking to experience out of this draft.
I'm just looking to give you guys my money. That's basically what's happening here. But if I could have 3 quarterbacks, 2 tight ends, be invested in wide receivers with significant draft capital, whether that's me taking wide receivers early or just sheer number of wide receivers, I think that's the way I'm going to try to go. And then I imagine that I will want to try to stack my quarterbacks, in a reasonable way where hopefully I'm not reaching for a whole bunch of guys, but stacking with my quarterbacks, and then game stacks for week 17. Now, like saying all of that and like actually doing it, 2 very different things, but I feel like that's the general way in which I need to try to approach this.
Oh, I have been getting lots of, it seems like Underdog just does not like me lately. It's all end of the round drafting. And that being said, AJ Brown falling to 11, I'm going to take him every time.
I believe that is his exact average draft position. So I don't know.
I don't think so.
If he's falling.
I don't know. Pete said, "Kitchen, listen to stuff. You need to hear it."
Garrett Wilson did go. Garrett Wilson did go at 8 in this one, and whoever's drafting at the 105 took Bijan Robinson ahead of Justin Jefferson. So I got my preferred Best Ball Mania start, which is to take Justin Jefferson. Freedman, my hot take is I've got Justin Jefferson ranked 3rd on my board. What do you think about how hot that take is?
That feels a little bit spicy. Like I can see it in terms of Justin Jefferson as a talent overall. But I think the quarterback is going to hold him back. Like I think he's got a really high floor, but I don't think he has the ceiling of some of the other players here. All right, now I need to decide what to do here. I don't really like Barkley.
I think their likes.
Here we go.
So
seeing
Freeman,
the
with this
sausage
being your
get made
first
in real time.
This being your first draft, like, is anything jumping out to you so far about the ADP here?
Not really. I'm going to be honest. It's hard for me. Like, how do I even like navigate to see the board, like the draft board?
there should be. Are you drafting on the? I mean, there should be a tab for you to click over. It'll show you the entire board on the right side of your screen.
Just above, right next to your username, there's a little grid.
Yeah, you just click on that grid. But maybe don't click on it right now because you're up in 2 picks, and I don't want you to get auto drafted, Saquon Barkley.
Thank you. Well, Saquon Barkley's already gone, right? Someone just took him.
He just went. JGFC, I mean, here's the deal, JGFC. We let you in these drafts. If you purposely go out of your way to ruin my draft again, we might have to come up with a different format for the show. JGFC somehow is the only one who's figured out our secret code of when we enter the draft.
It's real hard. Now that you're back, Kitchen, I will say to you, sir.
Great. No one else has figured it out. You're laughing, but no one else has figured it out. And if they do figure it out, we're screwed.
Well,
and this is a part of the draft I hate. I'm about to get absolutely buried by the Avalanche, and I'm gonna do this on purpose. And it's not gonna end well for me, but I am gonna take Kyren Williams, and I'm gonna get buried by the Avalanche here. I just think Kyren Williams is the best middle of the 3rd round pick. Like getting Kyren. Come on, Kyren. He's and I know David wanted him, but I wasn't going to let him get him at 311.
No, I have like 0 shares of Kyren.
How's that possible?
Because I don't like him at all. I think he's fool's gold.
You think Kyren Williams is fool's gold? Can you elaborate on that? As you pick Michael Pittman Jr.
Yeah, as you want to get the shades of Cam Akers on your team, pal.
Damn,
Laporta ahead of Kelsey, bro. Come on.
Yeah, you ever heard of Week 17?
Never
Freedman,
heard of
you
it.
ever heard of Week 17?
I've heard of it. If you ask me right now which teams are playing each other in Week 17, I would definitely not be able to tell you.
Well, that's okay. That's why we're here to help.
David also would not be able to tell you those things, so I think that's fine.
Ask me one matchup, one team, and I will give you
Colts.
who they're playing. Giants. Ask again, pal.
Bills.
Jets. Ask again, Davis.
Damn. All right. Panthers.
Tampa Bay Bucks in Tampa Bay.
All right.
Gosh.
I'm done doubting you. I'm done doubting you. I'm very impressed.
All right. I still don't have like a grid up.
Okay.
Well, to be honest, I think
do
you see on David's screen right here, like the screen that we're all streaming on?
Yeah.
Above your username on the right where it's displaying your team, if you click on that grid, the next to the username, it will pull the board up. And then you'll be able to see it all. Kerrane is absolutely pissing. Taking Stephon Diggs, I am gonna get absolutely murdered by this Avalanche, and there's not really anything I can do about it. But I'm fine with the choice that I made. This might be a 2-5-9-2 team for me. I
agree with you about Kyren being a good pick there, but it's tough with Taylor. That's where you really put yourself at risk of getting buried.
Yeah, sometimes sometimes you just got to take an L. Sometimes you just are. Sometimes you're just at the mercy of the room, and I'm gonna have to do something that literally physically disgusts me here. I promise you that this hurts me more than it hurts you, everyone. But I am gonna select T. Higgins, which I truly hate to do. I really hate it, but it does set me up. It does set me up with the Chase Brown correlation in about 6 picks, so that's fine.
I chose Patrick Mahomes as the first quarterback off the board. I like him. I also like pairing.
If that was in your mind, why did you say take Laporta?
Well, this is what I was going to say. I'm getting leverage over all those Kelsey Mahomes teams with selecting Laporta and with Mahomes. Yeah, it's called.
Don't the Goff Laporta teams now have leverage on you,
Pat?
What about
likes to know it
what
all.
about Goff? about Goff, Kelsey, Amon-Ra, St. Brown? They have so much leverage on you. You're
What
dead
about
to
you
the
just don't know?
David.
What about live a little? What about, hey,
You
let's
didn't live
just
a
have
little. Why
fun
didn't
out
you-
here?
Why didn't
Yeah.
you just take the stack? The stack's right there for you.
And you know what? The best thing about this is Dave didn't do the mental calculation of who's picking in between him. Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy are not going to be there when David is selecting at the 5'11", so he's going to have to take Rashee Rice like 30 spots ahead of ADP.
Yeah, I
You
will
didn't
be
learn
taking
6th round
Rashee
Rashee
Rice.
Get ready to learn 5th round Rashee Rice. You
It's
think
not-
Rock Chalk? You think
Rashee
Rock
Rice
Chalk?
is literally the best receiver on the team.
Yeah.
Totally.
Is there any
Dave-
other information about him that we should be aware of?
Yeah.
No. You guys, Freedman, Rashee Rice, pretty good player for the Chiefs. If
Let
you
Freedman cook, man.
Sorry, something weird was happening. Who did I just take? Travis Etienne?
Yeah.
yes,
Okay. All right.
I thought you were about to take Kincaid. I thought we were letting you cook.
I was hoping that Kincaid might fall back to me, but I was also dealing with something weird in
Davis, why would you select Hollywood Brown there?
in the
Honestly,
system.
Dave, know your room. Know your room, buddy. What did
I
you
thought
think was
we-
going to happen?
you're doing this just to ruin my team. And
No, I'm not.
Davis is not
Okay.
selecting Chiefs to ruin your team.
I
Yeah,
promise
no,
you.
he
I
is.
promise you. I'm not.
He's just doing what he does, man.
I'm just doing
Okay.
what I do.
all right, I'll remember that. I will remember that, Davis. You have made an enemy this draft.
Remember it for what?
You didn't have to select him, but you
who
chose
was-
to.
Who was I going to
That-
take, Dave?
that
Who
was
did
your
you think
choice.
who did you think I was going to take?
Don't worry about it.
Honestly, in your mind, Lad McConkey, 5'11", to Soccer Dave,
Oh my god.
taking the scroll the F down mindset pretty liberally.
Yeah. Just wait, pal.
You did this to yourself. I told you this
No.
before you were on the clock, exactly what I was going to do.
Yeah, but I had you did that just to bait me.
No, I didn't. I did it because, Dave, go watch the tape. This is our 6th time drafting. How many
Yeah.
times do you think I haven't taken Worthy or Brown in the 5th round?
Yeah, well, it's called maybe just spreading out your exposure.
That doesn't sound like living a little to me.
Gosh. All right. Tyler
Kincaid-
says, can we do a
Kincaid
wellness
is-
check on
Kincaid
He
Freeman?
might come back. That's
He's still on the board. I'm not
That's
going to
wild.
take him. I'm not going to take him. Dave, can you explain to me your logic in taking Jordan Addison instead of Rashee Rice? Can you go into the math there?
Wieners.
Yeah. It's called
Quick Nick.
it's called week 17 against the Steelers and 2 rushing touchdowns from Patrick Mahomes.
All right. Well, I have Rashee Rice.
And
now, so
everybody
thank
that
you.
drafted Worthy and just wasted 5th round picks on Hollywood Brown and Kelsey. No.
You did this to yourself, Dave. You have no one to be upset with but your own behavior.
Okay. Oh, you drafted Rashee Rice. Oh my gosh.
You thought he
All
was
right.
coming back to you? In
Okay.
what world?
No. Nope. That's fine. That is fine,
It's
David.
all
Freedman is locked in. He is in the matrix right now. I'm Freedman. I'm worried about your wide receivers. I'm going to be honest. I'm worried about your
Yeah.
wide receivers. You do start 3 plus a flex in this format every week.
Yeah. I am going to be hammering every other position from now on except running back.
Get ready to learn Cortland Sutton, buddy.
Yeah.
I
Adrian,
did
Tyler
I gotta-
Lockett in round.
Go ahead, Kerrane.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just
Go
saying.
ahead, Pat.
You're gonna be taking Tyler Lockett in the 8th round.
Yeah, Sutton and Lockett are the ultimate please save me guys when you're in this position. Now, Dave, what's your plan here with Mahomes? What's kind of your plan?
He's out there. He's just floating out there, and he's going to be a guy that propels me to the championship. And then during the championship, that's when my other quarterback or quarterbacks then take off. So there's more than one way to smoke a bird. Pat, are you okay? I see you yawning on today's show. Are we that
The analogy
bad?
just didn't do it for me. That smoke a bird.
It was
More than one
bad.
way to
Yeah.
smoke
Yeah,
a bird.
it was bad.
Now it's in this room. We really don't need someone going 7 straight wide receivers, but that's exactly what we're getting out of the one hole.
Freedman kind of did just get bailed out there, being able to get Keon Coleman. I mean that is a real light in the tunnel for him right now.
I mean,
I'm not hearing a lot of
feel like this
positive
is-
reviews out of Buffalo on Keon.
I feel like, but
Me
this
neither.
is the draft range for Keon Coleman, right? Like,
But in this specific room that we're in right now with wide receivers, oh mother.
Whoa.
Okay,
Whoa.
now I'm really in jail. I am in trouble here. I really needed Christian Watson for this build. I am gonna. God, I'm not having a good time. I'm gonna do something again. I don't recommend this. I am gonna take Joe Burrow, which is a bad pick. Just
What?
a straight up bad pick.
why? Why did you just do that?
It's
Because
T. Higgins.
I have T. Higgins.
And he knew I was going to take Joe Burrow with this next pick.
I needed Christian Watson there, and he went. So I'm not having a particularly good time. Not having a particularly good time anytime I have to do Joe Burrow, T. Higgins.
Look at this wall of green, baby. This is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
If
that
you
it
had
is-
Rashee Rice instead of DeAndre Hopkins,
Yeah.
you'd be cooking a little something right now, Dave.
Yeah, how many Chiefs do you have?
2.
Yeah. So your Chiefs stack is not going to do well, I don't think. See? Just a bunch of rushing touchdowns, week 17.
Najee Harris.
Yes.
Locked in. Najee Harris.
Yes.
When I think high single game ceiling, I do think Najee Harris in fantasy football.
Okay, here is my
True.
question though, Pat. Because of the week 17 with the Chiefs and the Steelers, do you think the Steelers running backs are being pushed up as far as ADP goes?
I don't think they're being pushed up because this is kind of where they were going before we knew the schedule. So
Yeah.
I don't really think they are, but I think they're both good picks. I take Najee and I take a lot of Jalen Warren, who I just took.
Who, if you had your first pick, who would it be?
Between the two, I'm taking
Yeah.
Warren. I think he's more talented. He's 215 pounds. He's big. He's good in the passing game, and so he's sometimes seen as a rotational passing down back. But he's big enough to where he can be a really effective rusher, which is exactly what it was last year. Super efficient as a rusher. So I'm just betting on the guy I think is more talented. But I think Najee. I mean, he wasn't impressive in his first 2 seasons, and he was pretty solid last year. So I don't want to just put blinders on and not take Najee either. They're both cheap, so I think getting both makes sense. And then, I mean, they're going to run a ton, and it's possible that I'm right, Warren's the guy, and then at the end of the season, it's rainy out, right? Tomlin talked about this last year. Coach Speak Index was on my pod talking about how he basically was like, Najee's a mutter. When it rains, we give the ball to Najee. So if it's rainy week 17, that's a potential out for Najee, even if I'm right that Warren's the better pick.
Let me ask you this: as far as last year, would you rather have had Bijan Robinson or Tyler Algier, just straight up?
Yeah,
Who is
I would probably I'd just
Bijan?
go with Algier just because I like the backups. Yeah.
Warren
So
is this year's
interesting.
Bijan's or is this year's Algier is what people are saying.
Yeah, that's I think that's a big underestimation of. I think it's just a misreading of a skill gap between the two.
Yeah.
Bijan.
Wow,
Bijan is much
Kerrane
better
the
than Najee.
Prophet. Kerrane the Prophet.
Yeah,
knew-
Kerrane the Prophet. How'd that do as far as the skill gap for the Atlanta Falcons offense last year?
What do you mean?
Are you suggesting that Najee Harris is as talented as Bijan?
Yeah, what are you
Robinson?
saying?
No. I'm saying that their offensive coordinator is not exactly about the skill gaps, is what I'm saying.
Bijan got the 9th most touches in the NFL,
he played
I think.
Bijan a lot, just not as much as he wanted.
I'm just talking about unpredictability, basically.
But unpredictability, arguably works in my favor here. He goes second.
No, Pat, it doesn't.
Okay.
You think it does, but it doesn't. They're right
think
next to each other. It'd be different if it was like 2 or 3 rounds later. Why don't you listen to JJ's ambiguous backfield narrative?
Yeah, maybe Dave, you are doing Kerrane is Matt Damon, and you're the guy with the ponytail in Goodwill Hunting right now.
Yeah.
Like you read
you're
JJ
Ben Affleck
Zachary's
in the Brady
ambiguous
roast.
backfield, and next year you're gonna read Siegel's zero RB thesis. Like you're getting. How are you liking those apples right now, Dave? Is what I'm asking you.
Oh damn! I just hit the wrong thing. Draft.
No,
Okay.
Freedman.
Well,
No, I pulled it out.
You got Njoku. So let's recap Freeman's team. He starts with Jamar Chase,
This is
Jalen
bad.
Waddle, and then goes heavy running backs with Devon Achane, Josh Allen, Etienne, and Rashad White. He does pair Allen with Keon Coleman and gets Tyler Lockett, and then his tight end is David Njoku.
So I was hoping to be able to get Curtis Samuel instead of Lockett. Davis got him right before. I was hoping to get Joe Burrow to pair with Jamar Chase. Davis took him right before. So not going my way.
If you don't take Dak Prescott here, Pat,
Why would I
Just
take
as-
Dak Prescott?
why,
because
what,
he is just a screaming value.
for
I left him
what?
for you, Dave.
How does that help him win $1 million? He doesn't have any of his
Snap
teammates.
He
But
can
think about the leverage he'll have on all those Cowboys teams.
literally
with naked
Think about
Dak.
all those Dak CD teams. That
only
you can have
2 of
leverage
the
on.
teammates. You have to tell a story when you have a guy like Dak that's like 107. I think his DK ADP right now is like 75.
So how does Dak get there without bringing CeeDee Lamb or Jake Ferguson with him?
Jake Ferguson was like a 3 or 4 week wonder. There were plenty of times where he was just did not appear
I think
any time last season. But you have Brandon Cooks out there. You have Jalen Tolbert. We don't know that they're going to be able to run the ball, so they're going to have to pass a lot more. And so you go out there and you get your guys. Make
Patrick
sure
Mahomes
you-
and Dak Prescott deserve better than CEH and Tolbert backstacks.
And then, so Dave, this is what Dave does. He takes
Yeah.
the faller in Dak, but then he reaches 20 picks on Brandon Cooks. I mean, that is what they won't teach you in JJ Zachary's ambiguous backfield. This is what you're
13
not-
picks,
This
Davis.
is what you're not
13
getting.
picks because I've learned that he's not coming back to me because you are trying to sabotage my team. So
I'm going to be honest with you. I would not have taken Dak Prescott, hardly at any cost, probably.
I was close to taking Dak before. I would have done that if I had been able to get Ferguson the pick ahead, but Ferguson went a couple of spots ahead of me. So if I had gotten Ferguson, I would have been happy to get Dak on the way back.
Freedman is 27 minutes into his best ball career and is already exemplifying a better understanding of the game mechanics than Soccer Dave, who's been doing this for 3 years.
no, my thing is the game's always changing.
he certainly is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw who was it? Someone tweeted out their day one.
Sam Sherman did one the other day.
Yes, it was Sam Sherman, and his team is just absolutely loaded. And so sometimes you got to zig while these other guys zag. That's why I did a hyper fragile running back team yesterday. Shout out to Ruppet. How do you say his name? It's like RQQPPET. Ruppet. I don't know.
I have no idea.
Okay. But he actually was in there with a cardio club, so he screenshotted my team, and it felt good to live a little and start running back. Kerrane, do you know anything about that?
I do, yeah. I think it's viable. Quite
It's
viable.
called bimodal RB, dude. Come on.
So, anyways, when the market like shifts as dramatically as it has been, you have to get a little bit crazy sometimes.
Well, the guy who got the craziest in some ways swam with the market at the one hole here. 7 straight wide receivers and then 4 straight running backs.
That's what
But,
I
like,
did on last week's
damn
stream.
it.
He's basically just copying me.
I mean,
I feel like
you
I'm
know,
just getting sniped
imitation,
everywhere.
highest form of flattery.
I was hoping to get Tua.
Friedman,
yeah.
why did you take
You do
Caleb
not
Williams?
want. You do
Why
not
did I
want
what?
Tua.
Why'd you take Caleb Williams?
Because I'm thinking about trying to stack him later with other people here. I'm just gonna take Khalil Shakur. I fucking hate this pick.
He
Khalil
already.
Thanks.
Honestly, Shakir is a better pick in round 11 than Curtis Samuel is in round 8.
He's not actually
100%.
The interesting thing about that.
100%
Who took Dontavian Wicks? Was it JGFC?
No,
it
it was
wasn't. All right,
MBG.
JGFC, you can live another day.
All right, Davis, you don't have any elite tight ends. Yikes.
I don't need them.
Whoa. It's not what studies say. It's not what the data says.
Not what the studies say.
You go for Jermaine Burton.
The thing that I find so charming about Dave's best ball personality is he so weaves in and out of that's what the data says versus if you just look at the data, you'll never draft a good team.
Again,
I find
every
it very good.
It's quite
every
charming.
draft has to tell a story, and you have to be kind of on both sides. You know,
Well, why don't you tell the story of your unstacked Mahomes team.
I've got a stacked Dak. My Dak is stacked.
With whomst?
Brandon Cooks. We just talked about.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Gosh.
How could I have forgotten?
All right.
Cooks?
This gap between Eckler on FanDuel and Underdog is wild. Like I get the half point PPR-ness, but like, or what I say?
FanDuel.
Yeah, DraftKings. On DraftKings, he's like 103. On Underdog, I just got him at 131.
Well, are there any discrepancies in between the scorings on the site that would make Eckler theoretically
That's
more
why
valuable
I just
on
said,
one
like,
versus
I
the
get
other?
there's a half point, but not that much. Boy. Go Rico right here. Let's go Rico. You know what? You just never know. All right.
Freedman, what's your review of drafting so far? How is this making you feel? What's your emotions as you're going through this? Is this mostly just a frustrating exercise?
I hate it so far.
Yeah, stick.
But I feel like that's pretty much in keeping.
Pretty par for the course. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Friedman, you said you wanted to, in hopes of stacking Caleb Williams. There's really only one guy to stack with him.
Yes.
That's left.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say his name or that it rhymes with Shemet, but
yeah, that's obviously the person I'm hoping to draft at this pick.
I'm just trying to help you out here. I want to know though about some of the news that has come out this past week. Davis, you're just like kind of grinding. Any sort of camp news that has really perked your ears?
Well, the most interesting one to me is that the Steelers beat writers are acting like Roman Wilson is not on the team.
What's going on there?
Is that Calvin Austin's backup?
I was able to,
Maybe.
Kerrane, I was able to find one update on Roman Wilson from, I believe, just like a radio guy who's been at camp, like he's not a writer. And what he said is that he's been non-existent. Like he basically can't do anything. Like he can't get open. He's having like a horrible camp. So maybe no news was better on Roman Wilson.
There was a piece on The Athletic about basically Wilson
about Van Jefferson.
Yeah. No, it was like one of those profile pieces. You know how like the big on The Athletic, like if there's like a big picture and they put some like work into the art and like it's like got quotes from the player, like almost universally you can skip those because they're just like kind of like this guy's working hard or whatever.
Yeah.
But this one was like Roman Wilson really coachable. Like he's ready to listen and learn what he can do better. And the wide receiver coach is being hard on him, but that's part of the process. It was like the least puffy puff piece I've ever read.
Okay.
So I don't know. I think it seems like there's some real smoke here of Roman.
We do have a comment in chat, which I think is interesting, which is that Tyler says that he and Zachary Kruger went back in time to figure out that Pitt beat writers never also said anything about Pickens, which is interesting. I mean, that is not nothing, I think.
I think he did, though. I think he did go back in time and see that he had said more about Pickens than what he has about Wilson.
I mean, I'm literally just reading something in chat, Dave.
Yeah. No, I saw that, but I thought his thing was that he did a search in between like a certain time period, and there was a little more information about Pickens than there is about Roman Wilson. All right, other wide receiver rooms though. The Jets, another one with Corley being drafted so high, and looks like Xavier Gibson is like amazing this year in camp. Any interest in Xavier Gibson this year?
We are not deep enough in this show to be talking. Like, the off season is not long enough for me to be talking about Xavier Gibson.
Because you love him so much. He's shifty. He's like one of those kick returner guys that you like.
That's
so
the thing
much.
is he's just a kick returner. That's all.
Okay.
That's all he is.
All right.
I'm curious your guys' thought on TJ Hawkinson. This is still up. TJ Hawkinson's receiving yardage prop is higher than David Njoku's on DraftKings.
I thought they took it down.
Maybe they did. I don't know. But it was going around in the Discord streets this last week.
Yeah, we had it up on Scores and Odds. I know Jimino was talking about it with Tuttle and some of the guys in the NFL chat. And then shortly after, someone else tweeted out that it was still up and available. And then like a few hours after that, they took it down. Because he might not come back until after the bye, right? Like, and even in then, because he didn't have surgery until the end of January on his ACL.
Hunter Henry came back in like 6 months from an Achilles. Never forget.
So did Aaron Rodgers.
Almost. Did Hunter Henry have an Achilles? I thought he had an ACL.
Yeah, an ACL. Yeah, my bad. Yeah. Freedman, I'm surprised as a RotoViz guy that you took Quentin Johnston. I would have thought that the worst targets per route run than Alex Erickson in year one would have had you done with him forever.
I am always an optimist, as you know, and also I went to TCU, so that was a little bit of a nostalgia pick.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, a little bit of a nostalgia pick, but like also I feel like he actually is one of the rare guys that late in the draft who has a chance to be the number one receiver on his team. Like, he probably won't be, but
they definitely want him to be. I would say if you ask the Chargers who they wished was their number one wide receiver this year, they definitely wish it was him.
Yeah, like I think he's got a shot at it. So let's see. Antonio Gibson. I should have known you would take Antonio Gibson there.
I'm saying the line. I'm saying the line, Bart. That's what I'm here for. There's another really good running back. I almost took this other guy who I think you're about to take. You are probably good at running. Well, no, you need one more minimum.
I like Gibson. Davis, what about Wandell?
Man, I was going to take McLaughlin.
Yeah, that's who I thought you would be trying to take.
Yeah, I was trying to take
DK, on DK. McLaughlin's still in the 180s. It's crazy.
To answer your question, David, about Wandale.
Yeah.
The ADP chasing bros this week laughed at me, suggesting that he might be used as a ball carrier this year.
You said he was going to have 40 carries. That's what
it's not important. It's not important. It's not germane. It's not germane to this conversation. I think during our conversation about Hyatt and Slayton, I just re-radicalized myself about Wandale because I'm like, these guys suck, and Wandale can at least earn targets. Like, Wandale earns targets in the NFL. I kind of forgot he led them in receiving last year.
Yeah, if he's healthy, then I think he's a steal of a pick in the 14th round.
Why wouldn't he be healthy?
Well, I'm just saying it all depends on health. With him, like that's the only thing that's going to hold him back.
He is healthy.
He's going to be on the field.
He came back last year from a torn ACL.
And MCA,
very interested. Freedman takes Deshaun Watson. Dave, you got no playmakers. What are you going to do, buddy?
I got two playmakers.
I don't.
How many Mahomes? How many teams like mine are there out there?
It's called differentiation.
Not enough. From my perspective, Dave, not enough.
Oh, do you like Deshaun Watson this year?
Not really. But I needed to stack him with Njoku And I like that Watson also has the Dolphins for week 17. And I've got Achane and Waddle as bringbacks.
You're getting schooled at your own game, Dave.
Boy, it's tough scenes out here. This next pick, though,
Kerrane likes Watson. You're in a room full of Watson drafters other than myself.
Yeah. Someone said we don't care about DK, David.
Well,
all I'm saying
point.
is, especially without Peter on the show, like honestly, we should have done a DraftKings draft on today's show.
It would have been interesting to try and show people the draft board and like watch you deal with that interface while hosting a draft.
Oh, draft board's fine for hosting a draft. All I'm saying is that if you draft like 20 teams on Underdog and then go to DraftKings, it just feels like you went from hard mode to easy mode. That's all I'm saying.
We should have started Freedman with a DraftKings draft where it's a little bit easier. Is what you're saying?
I don't know. Maybe. Okay. Do I need a tight end?
I think Freedman is acquitting himself just fine. I would not have taken the third quarterback. I would probably would have preferred a third tight end on this team, but he also went in philosophically wanting 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah, I probably should have pivoted though. And I might do, like, it would be terrible, right? Just like in terms of strategy to go with a third tight end at this point, right?
Who took Bo Nix at 16.4? Are you kidding me?
You know what it was? I think because Paul here set up he set up the Drake May with Demario Douglas and Javon Baker, but then I scooped them both as bringbacks to my Herbert. And so he's just pivoting to
my team.
Oh, that is true. You did snipe. I was inverted with Douglas and Baker.
Yeah. Although he only has 1 quarterback, so he kind of needed Nix as well.
You probably should be done at wide receiver, although I don't know. Maybe not.
How many rounds do we have left?
There's 18
You have 3
rounds.
more picks. You have 3 more picks.
On DraftKings, there's 20 rounds. Again, another nod to easy mode. You have to make some choices. You got to sacrifice with roster construction, Freeman. Like, what are you going to do? Like, what's your ideal roster construction?
You're asking me this as if I think about it.
Like a 3-5-7-3 kind of play, and it's safe a little bit. So you want to go up, a 2-6-8-2.
3-6-6-3 Best Ball Mania last year. People forget.
Yeah, and people also forget that the guy that won it sent out a public thank you to me and said it would not have happened if he hadn't lived a little.
It's true. Above all else, he thanked you, David Kitchen. That is
true. It's true. He thanked you for giving him the softest draft rooms imaginable. Because there are roughly 10,000 people a week that subscribe to the Swolecast and get their draft advice from you. Roughly.
Shit, I'm on the board right now.
Yes. Yeah, okay. You probably should take another wide receiver, to be honest.
Well, this is nasty.
Oh, you could have made a worse pick.
One of us. I love the Elijah Moore pick. Yes. Oh, just beautiful. Just like Pete would have roasted you right now, but you are in a room that is just going to support you and tell you, "Hey, that was a good pick." Because
I was doing it just because I have Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
it's the 17th round and Ben Sinnott is still there.
I know. The guy on the back end of the board has Daniels too. And does he have? He has 2 tight ends. So you want Pitts, Kittle. Although you could definitely justify Sinnott.
All right. Hey, can I ask a couple of questions here? So I have 3, 4, 7, 2. In terms of allocation, what should I be looking to do here?
Probably another wide receiver.
You think? And just hope Njoku and Kmet carry me?
Yeah. You started behind the 8 ball. Well, not started, but you took a big wide receiver detour for like 5 rounds.
I put myself behind the 8 ball.
I would probably go receiver.
Yeah. Okay.
You just need you're basically just like if Achane stays healthy, you've got a really good setup.
And then a question would be, so I'm stacked with the comebacks on Lockett going against the Bears in week 17, Waddle and Achane going against the Browns in week 17. I don't have a comeback for the Bills in week 17 yet, which would be a Jets player.
Xavier Gibson.
Yeah, I think you're better off at that point just taking a wide receiver you think is going to play than Xavier Gibson or Alan Lazard.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm
okay.
sweating a one guy here so hard, and I really hope no one takes him.
Actually, okay, Lazard what makes us think that Lazard actually won't get decent playing time this year?
Mike Williams is on the team. They play like the same position.
They actually
is going to be. He was inactive to close last season.
Yeah. He just stinks.
He's done.
Yeah.
You could do a hit him with the gritty and take Chase Claypool. It's definitely a possibility.
Now the chat has got some questions about Kitchen's last pick here. I don't know if we want to just.
I was wondering when you guys would see.
Now, at what point? Because I just like to hear your thoughts on balancing player takes versus correlation.
Let me tell you, there's a little bit of a balance here where you can have your cake and eat it too with Jared Wiley. People noticed that I took Sam Laporta over Kelsey to stack with Mahomes. There's not going to be a lot of Laporta Mahomes teams because of Kelsey going around that same spot as Laporta is. So what if something happens to Travis Kelsey?
What if
he's playing a little bit more?
What if Jared Wiley
with Taylor Swift? And what I'm hearing out of training camp, is that Jared Wiley is the next Travis Kelsey. That is what I'm hearing out of training camp. Are you hearing the same thing?
What price would I have to get that Jared Wiley doesn't run a route all season? Not one.
I don't know. I don't know why you would do that to yourself.
You passed.
You're not a Noah Gray guy. You're not into Noah Gray.
No, Wiley has passed Noah Gray as far as the passing down.
I'll bet that. I'll bet Noah Gray plays more than Jared Wiley this year. If you want to make that bet.
Yeah, but in week 17, when you need him the most.
I mean, Kitchen.
Week 17 routes: Noah Gray versus Jared Wiley.
Let's say that I'm in the championship, right? There's how many finalists? How many finalists are in the BBM5 championship?
It's like 500 something.
Or something. Yeah.
Okay. How many of those teams you think are going to have Jared Wiley?
0.
If I had to bet, 0.
No,
0.
1. There will be 1.
No,
this team right here.
But Dave, think about it. You could have taken Jaheim Bell and had leverage in all the Drake May teams.
That's so true. Why did you do that?
If you okay, Charlie says at least 1. Goblor has 1. So or 2.
All right, let's take a look at Freedman's first effort. He goes the 3-4-9-2 build. Pretty atypical, but his 4 running backs, Devin Achane, Travis Etienne, Rashad White, and Chuba Hubbard. There's definitely a path. If you're going to draft a hyper-fragile team, I think there's worse ways to do it. I think Caleb Williams was probably a mistake, even though it was 10 spots after ADP. I don't think it was terrible, but I think you probably should have taken a wide receiver instead of Caleb Williams, like a Gabe Davis, a Wicks, a Jermaine Burton, someone like that. I think would have been better at setting up Watson at the end. Your tight ends are fine, and Njoku and Kmet are good picks. They correlated. I think Coleman you had to take. Yeah.
I actually don't mind obviously you guys know more about this than I do, but like Caleb Williams versus like the wide receivers you mentioned, those guys, they all suck. Like at that point, like I have Caleb Williams.
You do make a convincing point, but what if?
I mean, if Gabe Davis kills me, I will accept that. But like Gabe Davis probably isn't going to be even like the number 2 wide receiver on his team, or there's, I'm just skeptical about a number of the wide receivers you mentioned there. And at that point, like, I think Williams, still is good enough as a quarterback to where he could finish like top 5, top 6 at the position, and it probably wouldn't be a surprise. But I felt after Williams, there was a massive drop off on the caliber of quarterbacks. So I wanted to get like what I felt was a pretty good upside number 2 quarterback at that point versus like the wide receivers you mentioned.
I mean, I think that's like in a vacuum. I don't think you're wrong. It's just the game mechanics, especially in this room. Like the wide receivers are just at a
here's
premium.
the thing, Freedman. If you would have came on this stream and drafted only 6 wide receivers, Davis and Pat would have laughed at you, right? Like anything that doesn't fit their mold of what constitutes a good team, they make fun of. And so what I'm telling you is like, don't
famously
real high bar.
Don't let them.
We see Jared Wiley. We act like it's crazy.
he ends his draft. Jalen Tolbert, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and Jared Wiley. What do you think the average points added to a best ball roster from those 3 players is going to be over the course of a season?
It depends how many touches Clyde Edwards-Helaire gets.
I also added Khalil Herbert in the 15th. He's the guy you want to target late in drafts right now.
Some correlation with Dak. You're hoping he gets.
Yeah, people are saying he's going to end up with the Cowboys now.
And if not, maybe the Chargers. Like one of those 2 teams. He's going to
also take Rico Dowdle there, so you kind of cucked yourself if if that happens.
Pat, who invited you on today's show?
Davis.
I mean, seriously, it is great value for Davis and Kerrane to be drafting with me in Kitchens. Like you guys should want to be in a show with us all the time.
I look forward to it every single week. Every single week, it's the highlight of my week drafting with Dave. Now, Pat drafted just a very standard team. He's got Herbert.
Boring team. A boring team.
I think it's fun.
No,
like
he's got Palmer with the double bring back with Herbert. He's got Puka and Stafford. I don't know if I'm that into Tyrone Tracy these days. I would be more into reaching on Braylon Allen, but I get it. And you got Douglas and Baker, and you took Jonnu ahead of Chig. That was interesting to me. I got. When did I get Chig pilled? Who did we do? Leone. Yeah, I got fully Chig pilled. I think
I'm Jonnu pilled. I think that's it's a good setup for him. I think,
especially against the Browns in Week 17.
That's right.
I'll just say this.
Are you going on?
Pat, your team is so boring.
Well, I stacked
that's okay.
Packers without Love. Is that do you like that or not like that? Look how many Packers I have.
I mean, I think that's extremely fine because you don't expect Love to like the volume for the Packers won't be that high. You just expect them to be super efficient.
That's what I'm hoping, and then I'm hoping Herbert or Stafford keeps close.
Yeah.
You've already won the $2 million, so you're just hoping to min cash some of these just to keep the 4% interest. If you can get a 5% ROI, you're set.
One thing I'm thinking about, so Week 17, Buffalo, like Josh Allen playing in the elements. That feels like a terrible setup. Like,
well, here's the thing. You don't want to think that and then make that your entire brand for an offseason. And then it turns out the worst game with the worst weather ends up being the highest scoring game of Week 17. Just a cautionary tale.
No, I guess what I'm saying, but if Josh Allen goes off in Week 17, it feels like that has more to do with him scoring like 2 rushing touchdowns versus him throwing to the wide receivers I drafted.
Correct. Yeah. I think that's 100% accurate.
Yeah. So like the idea of stacking Allen, it's like, I mean, obviously stacking is better than not, but it's just like stacking Allen doesn't feel like such a massive priority if I'm at least thinking of Week 17.
He's so expensive though that like when you take him, you're betting against that outcome. You're betting that he does go off.
Yeah. I mean, obviously I would have loved to have gotten Kincaid and almost did.
Oh, I mean, Kincaid in the 6th would have been a smash. I haven't really seen that. That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Final thoughts as we thank our guests for being on the show. I want to thank Freedman and his setup for being like just really nice. Look at those books in the back. He doesn't just have like the top half of a guitar and his neck. You get his chin and above.
Decent neck, though.
Yeah.
It's a good neck.
It's a good neck.
So shout out to Freedman. Freedman, you have anything you want to plug right now?
Yeah, Fantasy Life. We have a magazine for people who actually still read like physical magazines. Go to like CVS, Target, wherever. We have the Fantasy Life fantasy magazine with contributions from a ton of people, including Peter Overzet. So check that out. We have
Is this
the
going to be
newsletter, of course.
Yeah. How does the magazine differ from other magazines?
It's better. That's how it's different. It's better in that it's getting all of the Fantasy Life people putting all of their thoughts out there. We've got rankings, projections, blurbs for, like, I don't think it's hundreds, but like 150 different players. I have blurbs looking at all the different offenses, ranking them 1 to 32. So a lot of information in there. And then of course you can order it on the website as well. But, Fantasy Life, just everything that you could want from a fantasy site, we've got it, or we will be launching it soon. So a lot of tools that we have coming up as well. So people,
you want to spill the beans? Like what are some of the tools you're planning on launching?
I don't want to spill the beans. I just want to tell you to keep an eye out for it.
Keep an eye out.
Keep an eye out. We will.
Yeah.
It's a theme of this show. So everything you need for fantasy sites, better than any other fantasy sites out there. So says Freedman.
And I should know because I've worked for all of them.
Yeah.
Davis, I hope for you that you actually haven't applied to all of the places where I have worked before. But
I bet I have. I bet I've sent an email to anyone in a decision-making capacity in fantasy football, probably.
Well,
Pat, do you have anything you want to plug?
LegendaryUpside.com. You can find all my content over there.
Yeah.
Doing rankings pods over there. I had a really good pod, free podcast feed wherever you get your podcasts with Coach Peak Index that I referenced. That was a lot of fun running through some of the various backfields and stuff and talking about some of the weirder coaches in the league. We just launched a dynamic rankings tool called the Sidekick that you can check out at legendaryupside.com/sidekick. Down for maintenance in honor of the Swolecast at this very moment, but we're hoping to get that up again soon.
Really good bit, Kerrane, a really good bit would be having Kitchen on a show and walking him through a draft with the Sidekick and him being like, I'm absolutely not.
I would love
this.
Well, we built it with the idea that you do actually want to IKB it at a fairly decent rate, but it's kind of there to help gather together the leg up rankings that we would have in that part of the draft as opposed to just static rankings. So, but yeah, check that out. legendaryupside.com/sidekick. We're running a flash sale. Originally, we were going to run it through the end of Friday. We're going to extend that by at least a day. $150 off your first year. So $350 for your first year is the flash sale. Promo code leg up to get that.
Okay, gosh. Boy, we allotted 30 seconds. You took 3 minutes. All right. Davis.
You get sick of looking at my neck? Is that why you're a little annoyed?
Thinking of paint colors for your room. Davis, what do you have to plug? Let me just go ahead and say, and this was going to be in the beginning. Like, Davis has been grinding. If you notice his Twitter feed, his X feed, it has been just full of nonstop goodness. Like, I am so proud of you, Davis.
You shouldn't be. You shouldn't.
No,
be. I'm just shamelessly begging for a job, but maybe it'll work out.
Okay. All right. You have anything you want to promote?
Subscribe to the Patreon until I figure out what I'm doing. There'll be daily stuff up there. So whatever I've got going on is going to be there.
And let me just say that one thing I did not get into with the Overzet's overview, so it's Kitchen's conclusion, is that X has removed the ability to see who has liked your post. So no longer a source of shame. You can like freely. So the joke's over. Like my tweets. With that being said, we'll see you next week here on the Swolecast, presented by RotoGrinders.com. Peace.